If you are pregnant or you've recently had a baby, this podcast is for you. I am your host, Kath Bequee, a physiotherapist working in women's health and mum of three. Inside my online program, Fitness Mama, I just love helping support women to care for their bodies during pregnancy, prepare their bodies for birth, and support their after-birth recovery, helping them feel confident and strong inside out during this important stage of their lives. In this podcast, join me each week as we dive into all things pregnancy care, childbirth, and postnatal recovery, helping you through every step of the journey. It is absolutely possible to feel amazing and confident in our bodies during this motherhood journey, and I want that for you. Come and say hi to me on Instagram at fitnessmama, and let's dive into today's episode. Hello and welcome back to the Pregnancy, Birth and Recovery podcast. It is so great to be with you here today, recording this episode. I don't have my usual microphone set up at the moment because currently away with the family over the Christmas New Year period. But I know it has been just over a month since last episode was released. So well and truly time for a new episode. So I really wanted to jump on here and record an episode. And this topic today, I was looking through most popular episodes over the last few years, and I wanted to do an episode today that seems to be of great interest to a lot of you, and I think it's really important episode topic in so many aspects. So today, discussing what are the best pelvic floor exercises to do during pregnancy and after birth as well. So I'm going to talk through the different types of exercises that are important. Importantly, why are these pelvic floor exercises important? Like, what even are the pelvic floor muscles? I feel like we go through life, adolescence, we go through our teenage years not knowing anything about pelvic floor, and then suddenly we reach pregnancy and everyone's talking about, oh, don't forget to do your pelvic floor exercises, don't forget to do your Kegels and all the rest. And it becomes a bit of a buzzword. So we're going to discuss what are these exercises, what are these muscles, and why are they actually important to be aware of. Personally, I wish this sort of information there's so much we could be teaching our children from adolescence. Anyway, that's a whole other topic. Maybe I'll do a topic on what we need to teach our children during adolescence. But today we're going to discuss why they're important and what's the best way to support your pelvic floor exercises during pregnancy and post-birth, and when to go and seek help from your local pelvic floor physiotherapist. Okay, so let's get straight into it. These muscles really quick I know quite a few of you are quite well acquainted with your pelvic floor muscles. These muscles do sit at the base of the pelvis area. They surround all the openings of the pelvis. So you've got your urethra, like where your bladder, you've got your vagina where the baby comes out, you've got your rectum at the back. So there's the three holes. Your pelvic floor muscles surround all those openings. So they've got two important functions. One is to keep us continent. That means, to help us stay dry, help us not accidentally leak, and help us not accidentally leak urine, feces, or flatus like wind. Secondly, they help to support our pelvic organs. So they help to support us against pelvic organ prolapse, which can be the sensation of a bulge, a vaginal heaviness, like a pelvic heaviness sensation, like a dragging sensation that can sometimes be felt. They are also involved in issues such as urgency, so that need to rush to the toilet, with sexual function too. They've got some other issues, but they've got some other main functions, but they're the main ones. So, number one, what are the best pelvic floor exercises to do during pregnancy and post-birth? Number one is all about awareness. Before we even start exercising them, let's actually get some good awareness of your pelvic floor. This is key. Are your pelvic floor muscles zipped up permanently? Are they zipped up at the moment? Just, can you zip them up? Are you able to relax your muscles? Are you able to relax your pelvic floor muscles during bowel motions? This is a really important one. We don't want to be zipping up our pelvic floor muscles and holding tension in those pelvic floor muscles while you're trying to open your bowels. That can contribute to things like constipation, having to strain on the toilet, which can be risk factors for pelvic organ prolapse later in life. This also links in with the importance of deep breathing and belly breathing. Because if we can do some beautiful deep belly breaths, and this is why I start and finish in the last 12 months, every new recording, every new workout I record for Fitness Mama, our online workout app, includes deep breathing at the start and at the end of each workout. And this is because our diaphragm and our deep breathing is closely associated with pelvic floor muscle function. Actually, deep breathing is one of the most beautiful things that you can do in the early, 24, 48 hours postpartum to help reinvigorate your pelvic floor muscles. So if you are struggling to understand if your pelvic floor muscles are zipped up or if they're relaxed, if you're perhaps experiencing pain with sexual function or chronic constipation, urgency even, then this might be an indication that you need a bit of support, and therefore, as always, go and seek support of your local pelvic floor physio. If you don't know who your local pelvic floor physio is, feel free to drop me a DM on Instagram at FitnessMama. I've got a great network of pelvic floor physios I recommend, or I can send you a few links where you can search. So that's not a problem at all. My DMs are always open. Okay, let's move on because I could talk all day and I want this to be a nice quick episode. Second best pelvic floor exercise that you can do during pregnancy and after birth as well is working on our strength. So I'm not just talking about pelvic floor strength here, I'm talking about our whole body. So exercising during pregnancy helps with postpartum pelvic floor strength return. How amazing is that? Just by exercising during pregnancy is going to help with your postpartum pelvic floor recovery. So we want to include some whole body strength, including pelvic floor strength. Whole body exercises, Pilates, core. Let's include some rectus abdominis, so beautiful abdominal exercises. This is all stuff we cover inside Fitness Mama to make sure you've got not just great pelvic floor strength, but whole body strength too, which can help support your body with pelvic girdle pain, with your pelvic floor support, as I mentioned, but just your overall health and well-being as well. Now, I will just say, I'm going to keep this, when we're talking about pelvic floor strength, there are different aspects of strength. There's power, there's coordination, like quick lifts versus long holds versus our, the endurance muscles versus our strength and 10-second holds. And I'm not going to deep dive into that. I've sort of lumped all of those strength exercises into one bucket. If you scroll through the podcast episodes, you'll notice I've done, I think it's 14 pelvic floor exercises on the podcast where I run through the different types of pelvic floor exercises. So the strength exercises, the coordination, the power, and you can check that out if you're more interested. And of course, this is what we cover inside Fitness Mama, and this is something that your pelvic floor physio can take you through as well. Finally, let's include the relaxation. So the pelvic floor relaxation is particularly important in the last trimester of pregnancy. Sure, we want strength and we want nice, strong pelvic floor exercises because that will help with our postpartum recovery. But during childbirth, we want all those muscles to be relaxed and open, so that if you're having a vaginal birth, so that the baby can make its way through the birth canal. And part of how I teach perineal massage inside Fitness Mama, a big component of that, it's not just about the massage, but it's about learning how to relax those pelvic floor muscles during childbirth and during that that stage of labour. And this is where there's a whole lot of techniques that you might be learning in your childbirth education classes, like, birth affirmations, your deep breathing, your TENS machine. And they're all different ways of helping your body relax, but also helping your pelvic floor relax to help. And I'm talking about it from a pelvic floor perspective, being the pelvic floor physio that I am, but helping that pelvic floor relax to help your baby make its way through the birth canal. Because what we don't want at this stage is your pelvic floor muscles zipped up and activated and strong, because that closes off your openings. That's why they're so important for prevention of incontinence. We actually want the opposite. We want them to relax and release and open. So this is where the perineal massage stuff that I teach my mums inside Fitness Mama, this beautifully goes so well with all those childbirth education classes that you might be doing with your midwife, there's so many different hypnobirthing techniques, calm birthing, like all those different techniques. They complement each other really well. And one more point on relaxation. It can also, I've talked about whole body relaxation, but I want to quickly just point out abdominal relaxation is really important here. I think through our teens, with society, there's a lot of teenagers and young adults who are, not just young adults, we all suck in our tummy at times. As a society, it's just this. This is where we go into a whole topic, which I do tend to try to avoid in terms of weight and the way we look and all the rest. But I think the reality is a lot of women do suck in their tummy muscles, and this isn't necessarily helpful. Abdominal relaxation is really important. And I say to my mums, especially those with pelvic girdle pain that often have overactive muscles, I'm like, let it all hang out. Let your tummy hang out. And again, this is why during the Fitness Mama workouts, we do a lot of abdominal relaxation combined with our pelvic floor and core exercises, but it's also really important to let the muscles go. A bit of an analogy here. Imagine you had neck pain or a headache. If you were tensing up your shoulder muscles and lifting your shoulders up all day, this would exacerbate your headache and neck issues. We need to be able to relax the shoulders, to relax those muscles surrounding your neck and your head and your shoulders to help release the discomfort and the pain. Same when we're pregnant. We sometimes it's an automatic reaction to suck it all in, but that ability to release and relax and let it go so that we're getting that full, lovely range of motion, the muscles have a chance to relax, they've got a chance to strengthen. It's all really important. Okay, and then last but not least, the best way to support your postpartum pelvic floor strength, and I have touched on this, but the best thing you can be doing to feel strong so that you're not leaking, minimising risk of prolapse issues, issues with sexual function, all the rest. It's to actually stay fit and active during pregnancy and postpartum. This is easy to say if you're well, if you're fit, if you're feeling strong, if you're feeling good. If we sprinkle in a bit of nauseousness, morning sickness, you're feeling achy and sore, perhaps you're feeling time poor, you've got multiple children or you're working full time, this is when I find the reality is it can be harder to stay fit and active during pregnancy and postpartum. It's like I've got 3 children. I totally know that during my first pregnancy, I found it so easy to stay fit and active. And then during my second and third pregnancy and postpartum recoveries, it does become more of a challenge. And this is where Fitness Mama, the whole idea came from, because I knew I wanted access to quality workouts, but I couldn't necessarily go to an hour-long class and drive there, drive back. It was hard to find care for my children. So this is where I think there is, and I know I'm biased, very happy to say that, but this is where I think the ability to be able to exercise at home in the comfort of your home, even if it's for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it is, like this. If you can imagine, if you were doing 10 minutes of quality, good exercise every single day, how good is that? Like mentally, physically, every facet of your life can change. And even if it means, your kids interrupting you halfway, or you're having to hold your toddler during some of the exercises, or you hold your baby, something is better than nothing. Done is better than perfect. And this is where Fitness Mama can really help you with your lifestyle and your ability to stay strong, to help, because ultimately what we're wanting to do is have an amazing motherhood experience. We don't want to be, bogged down with pelvic floor concerns, aches and pains, feeling like we're weak, we can't keep up with our kids. This is ultimately about feeling good in life, feeling confident inside out. So there you have it, ladies. As always, if you've got any concerns about your pelvic floor function, about your pelvic floor strength, recovery, please send me a DM, come and see us in Fitness Mama, but importantly as well, go and see your local pelvic floor physio who can do that individualised assessment, treatment, diagnosis, and they can help you point you in the right direction. That's it, ladies. Have a fabulous day. I look forward to catching you very soon for another episode of the Pregnancy, Birth and Recovery podcast. Thanks for listening to the Fitness Mama podcast, brought to you by the Fitness Mama freebies found at www.fitnessmama.com/free. So please take a few seconds to leave a review, subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and be sure to take a screenshot of this podcast, upload it to your social media, and tag me at Fitness Mama so I can give you a shout out too. Until next time, remember, an active pregnancy, confident childbirth, and strong postnatal recovery is something that you deserve. Remember our disclaimer: materials and contents in this podcast are intended as general information only and shouldn't substitute any medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. I'll see you soon.